sometimes I feel like they don't communicate enough. And so I'm going to give the edge to Lunar Tide, but really, honestly, my hope is that both teams at least get one win today. So I have my fingers crossed for a 2-1 victory to somebody and not a 3-0 wipe.
Yeah, hopefully.
Because I think part of it is if you don't get at least one win here against the other winless team, what other team are you going to get a win off? You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
So we'll see. I think both teams, I really appreciate them joining our league, even though it hasn't been, the best for them. It's hard when, you don't have any wins to still get motivation, but I really appreciate both teams still showing up. It's really easy. I've seen other esport leagues when a team is winless, they just say, well, forget about it. I'm just quitting the league. And I feel like that is, very disrespectful move. So I'm glad both teams are sticking it through, and hopefully they pick up some wins and hopefully they learn something from it.
Yeah, it's definitely, I would see it from, the light of, it's a learning experience. It's good to have your butt kicked. Honestly, it's kind of humbling. You aren't the best at, you aren't the best, but you can look up to those teams to get better, and you can even ask to have a scrimmage against them, and maybe see what they're doing that you're not, and stuff like that.
Well, we got another DC, this time from the other team, so we're just getting all the DCs out of the way before we even start this matchup.
Are we in Washington, DC?
Oh my goodness. Got him.
I set that up wrong, but I still don't matter.
What a jokester. You know what I think it is, Solver?
What?
I think these teams, they want us to talk about them more. So they're like, if we DC, then Solver and Luke just get stuck having to talk about High Voltage and Lunar Tide. That's pretty big brained.
Oh no. I'm going to say High Voltage win just because electricity over water.
That's the way you predict. That's great. The other thing I think we need to mention here, Solver. I am saying your name right? Solver?
Yeah, it's Solver.
Okay. Or do you want to go by King Solver?
Oh, I personally prefer Solver.
Okay, all right. So the other thing, between these two teams, believe it or not, both have a player named Rose. And so, really, this is the battle of the roses. And that's what this is coming down to. So whoever's team wins, they may not have the esport victory here in the season 2, but they can say they have the rose. They can claim that name for all time.
Mm.
And I
Why does Lunar Tide have so many food-related names? I just realized this.
They're hungry for victory. We got Jello, Nugget, and Lemon. And rose, technically, you can get a rose extract and use it in baking and stuff. So you
or
can,
the oil that comes from it too.
Yeah, or decorate a cake with it. So really, you could say potentially all 4 of their players have something food related.
I guess you could say it's just, it's a cherry on top.
Right.
I don't know where I was going with that one. I stopped halfway.
I like it. No, don't, never stop halfway. If you have a bad joke, you just keep going through until the end, and eventually it'll get there.
Eventually.
All right. Well, both teams now look like they're ready. They're giving me the signal. Hopefully no DCs during the game. We are in our first matchup, finally, between Lunar Tide and High Voltage. One of them going to get their first win of the season. Let's go. All right. Back with Rainmaker, Lunar Tide in the turquoise, and High Voltage in the pumpkin, the spoopy color. Maybe that's what they need to win. Solver, what are you seeing coming out of these teams right off the bat?
I'm seeing no backline.
No backline?
From High Voltage.
I mean, not much of one from Lunar Tide either, unless you're counting the Nautilus.
The Nautilus, it could be counted as a backline, even though it's a utility. but still, like range on this stage is crucial.
High Voltage getting a wipe actually on Lunar Tide, but they did let him push it up to 61. That almost seemed like they let them there. they weren't there for the defense at first, but all of a sudden they get 4 for nothing.
They seem to primarily defending center, so they weren't ready for the mid. The left push.
Yeah, Nugget getting a kill on Ashy there. That might help the stop. If you don't know the history of Walk the Plank, both people have been here for months supporting the channel, so it's a little bit of a grudge match going between the two of them. And right now, Nugget getting the better of them and having the Rainmaker.
I would just say Nugget just run.
Trying stay alive. He actually does. This guy is incredible on the Rainmaker. Not the best ranked player in the world, but I always love watching this guy grab the Rainmaker. He's never afraid to pick it up. He's never afraid to go for those crazy plays.
I see a Rainmaker main.
That's pretty much what Nugget is. I would agree. Still staying alive. I don't know where his team is, but he somehow gets a double kill.
But he got a double kill. Oh, there his team. Oh, and High Voltage got wiped.
With the wipe? His team is nowhere near him, but Linden's just slowly walking it up casually. I think he's gonna go down. Yeah.
Oh, dang! These Rainmaker trades are kind of funny.
Yeah, I love watching the Rainmaker being moved up these grates. It is so slow. It's like a little action movie of a guy walking away from an explosion. Just so casual. And Lunar Tide are going to pick it up. They seem to be actually dominating High Voltage in the last minute. Nugget could potentially fall a double kill bomb.
Oh no! The splat bomb kill.
Rose saving the day, but they don't know. They're behind them this whole time. And Lunar Tide has a chance to get the KO again.
It seems like Jello's on their own.
Ashley trying to make plays.
Jumps down.
Yeah.
But so the Ink Armor gets that everyone, but Nugget just couldn't quite get that.
This is a bloody match here. Lunar Tide just, I mean, they've kept the Rainmaker there for almost a minute now. Gonna push yeah.
Honestly, oh wait, hold on.
Yeah, they get the wipe.
I was just gonna say not pop the Rainmaker and just let it reset, but
they push it to 25, but man, they had a potential to get maybe 2 or 3 KOs there, just not getting it all the way there. Jello with a nice shot though. Insert Jello shot joke here. Rose now picking up that Rainmaker, going straight around Jello. Look at those Matrix moves, but I don't think that's going to be enough to get it done. Lemon with a nice stop there. And Lunar Tide looking like they're going to have full control, unless Ashy can do a 1v3, but that's not going to happen against Nugget with the Rainmaker.
And Nugget somehow pulls off that runaway and gets that pick as well.
Yeah, unless High Voltage gets maybe a wipe, that's maybe their only hope, but it looks like Lunar Tide is going to really have full control over most of the map, even if they don't get any more score.
And it seems like that's a wipe on... Oh, wait, no, hold on. Now it's a wipe.
Yeah, Bro's getting some good kills. Solver, it looks like High Voltage is going to have one more chance. It looks like a communication error about who's going to actually pick up the Rainmaker. Ashy's the one that decides to this time.
What weapon is Ashy again?
Ashy is the bucket.
Oh, that's not a good pickup.
Yeah, they don't have any really weapons out in front of him. He's kind of trying to stay away, but the Nautilus is going to get him there.
There it comes. You definitely want your supports or backlines to grab it, not your Slayers.
Yeah, and that's what we've been seeing from High Voltage. We've seen them have communication errors. I don't think most of them do voice chatting, and so it's really hard to communicate as a team. And from that, it looks like Lunar Tide is just going to get the win here. Fetus maybe be able to pick it up, but Lunar Tide is waiting all around them to just
yeah, don't go that way. Don't go that way. Yeah. I think this is definitely... This is definitely...
to try to pop it in time. Not going to happen.
If only Ashley hadn't run out of ink, there might have been a chance.
Yeah, Lunar Tide getting that first win of the season. Congrats to them. Nugget definitely popping off on that Rainmaker. Some great plays out of him. Lemon, though, with, of course, the Nautilus and 16 kills. I
Of
told
course.
you, the Nautilus cannot be stopped. It is too strong, too OP. I don't feel
I'm
like
so sorry for
Lunartide.
questioning it.
Yeah, I don't feel like Lunartide dominated that, but they definitely held the lead pretty much the entire game.
Yeah, they have a nugget, the Rainmaker main, so that's definitely giving them the edge.
The Rainmaker main. It does make me think, though, that High Voltage definitely has a chance to get a win here on Splat Zones or Tower Control in the third game. I think Lunartide, Rainmaker is always their best mode, especially with Nugget on their team. He's known as the Rainmaker King, and so it's no surprise Lunartide takes a win here. But Solver, what does High Voltage need to do, taking that loss, coming in now to Game 2? How do they get a win here? Splat Zones on Piranha Pit.
Range. They need range. Like,
Range.
the most range they had was a CDS, and CDS backliner is not a good way to play CDS.
Well, we'll see. I know a lot of their players like to go for those kills, and maybe they just need someone to sacrifice on their team and play a little less greedy, a little more backline. I don't know if they'll choose that route, but the teams are ready to go, so I guess we're about to find out. We're going to game number 2. This time, Splat Zones. High Voltage still looking for their first win of the season. Lunartide's finally getting it in that game number 1. Let's see what happens now. Alright, heading to Piranha Pit this time. We got Lunartide in the yellow, and purple will be High Voltage this time around. What are you seeing out here, Solver? I'm seeing Ashy at least on a Nautilus for High Voltage.
I'm seeing a balanced comps. Good job, everyone. Balanced comps.
More bounce before. What do you think about the Clash Blaster coming out here by Jello?
Definitely an interesting pick for Splat Zones, but honestly, it could work if they're just going pure Slayer.
Yeah, well, right now it looks like High Voltage is finally finding some coordination. Fetus. A gross name, but some good plays coming out. Fetus there.
Honestly, the only thing I would fault High Voltage for is not having a Slayer now, which is like the complete opposite of what their other problem was.
Yeah, I think they'll be fine with that K-Pro, though. The one thing I'm worried about is this Explosher from Lunartide. Getting that range over High Voltage can be pretty devastating, and just like that, JGC is going to put himself in a lot of trouble.
Yeah. Definitely a fun name to say. JGC.
Yeah. JGC, she has been popping up for High Voltage before. Let's see if she can keep doing that. Fetus getting some more kills here on this in-zap, and using that armor pretty well is going to give them the opportunity to get the lead here.
Nugget got pressured by like 2 people.
Ooh. Trading on the Inkjet. Nice job, Lemon, there. Seems like a pretty close game. No one really taking control. Just a lot of kills back and forth.
It seems like Lunartide is kind of at the advantage right now due to them not being stuck in spawn.
Yeah.
Oh wait, no, Ashy.
Ashy runs out a little bit too fast. Nugget gets 2, going for 3, does get it.
Oh my gosh.
Where's the quad
triple
kill? Give it to him. Not gonna find it.
Oh,
Rose
is
actually
on the other side of the map.
I mean, this is crazy. It just seems like player after player is getting a double or a triple kill, but it's just completely out of nowhere, I feel like.
Only letting 1 point lead slip. And they're just saying, no, we're not going to let any more.
240. This is a very interesting map. It just feels like whoever can get these picks is going to win here. It doesn't... I don't even know if they're trying to coordinate as a team, but this is pretty a wild game here so far. High Voltage does have the zone, but they do have a 3v3 that they're facing right now, and Fetus is in some trouble there. Gonna go down, unfortunately.
He probably shouldn't have gone into the X-Washer radius.
Yeah, I think Lunartide with that Explosion definitely has some range advantage, and it just seems like they have more options than High Voltage does. Alright, Ashy coming down the side though. Will he get some Inkjet kills? Nugget gonna take him down before he can even use it. Seems like he could have popped that Inkjet maybe a little bit sooner there.
Yeah. I think he was trying to stay behind his wall though. but just couldn't help it.
Yeah, JGC going full try-hard mode there. Fetus using the armor, but again, they're going out 1v2.
Yeah, 3v1.
This is not looking good. Ashy with that inkjet maybe gonna have a chance to get some picks. They're gonna need it as they're now down by a score of 25 points.
Oh.
Lunar Tide. Getting wiped
Nugget
there.
goes down too.
All right, high voltage making it interesting once more. Can they hold the zone though? That's the real question. Seems like Lunar Tide still has a lot of paint out there though. A lot of map to use. Lemon seems to be popping off now with that in zap. And of course, as I say that, caster curse.
N-Zap definitely is a really great weapon. Like,
almost
it could
too
be
good.
honestly counted as a founder, like a fighter.
Yeah, Nugget trying to paint back, trying to get high voltage out of the zone. It is a 3v3. Both teams have one zone. This is going to come down to the very end of the match. Can high voltage get a pick or two here? This would be huge. They're going to get control, I believe.
That X-Washer definitely did really well. So I applaud them for that.
Bubbles are coming out here by Lunar Tide, but the only other special right now is Ashy on that Nautilus. Fetus getting some kills. I think high voltage are at least going to get this into overtime. They are just a few points away. Lemon goes down as well. Ashy's still holding on to the inkjet. Will he pull it out? 5 points away. They are going to get they do get the lead.
Hold on.
And they hold on. A miracle.
That was such a great comeback.
In the very last seconds, high voltage able to pull that lead back. I was mistaken for a second there. I thought they lost it just a point away, but they had the lead by 1 point. And high voltage with Rose, Fetus, and Ashy all getting close to 14, 13, and 12 kills there.
Those picks at the end were definitely important.
That was a crazy game. It felt so weird to commentate that game because it didn't feel like most of the team had strategies. It just seemed like random kills back and forth, back and forth.
The most I really saw a strategy was the X-Splasher kind of hanging back, painting their zone.
Yeah, I saw players just willing to throw out their inkling bodies, just willing to go for whatever play, even a 1v3. Of course, most of the time not working out in their favor when you're going in 1v3.
And then the X-Splasher at the end just trying to get that zone painted, but just couldn't.
Yeah, a little unfortunate there for Lunar Tide, but high voltage, congrats to you guys getting your first win. There's still one match to play. So this could be potentially the match that determines who doesn't get last place. I mean, there are 2 more weeks for these other teams, or these teams to pick up other wins, but it's going to be much harder, obviously. Solver, from what you've seen in the first 2 games, it seems like it could be anyone for game 3, but what do you feel in your heart as your prediction?
I have a feeling I would say Lunar Tide.
Okay.
They have a little more level-headed comps.
Yeah.
At least from what I've seen.
Well,
and also they have a Clash Blaster.
Who knows? It just seems like a roll of the dice here. So if you're going to say Lunar Tide, I might as well roll the dice the other way, say high voltage. We are ready for game 3. So we're about to find out whose prediction is right. Lunar Tide, high voltage, one more time today. Who's going to get the upper hand? All right, this time we got Lunar Tide in the blue here, and high voltage gonna be wearing the green ink. Seems like team comps pretty similar on the side of high voltage, but Lunar Tide making some changes around here this time.
No Slayer.
They do have that blaster though.
Yeah, it is pretty short range.
Ooh.
Oh, but jumping right on top of that splash bomb.
A little bit unlucky there. Gonna give high voltage the chance to get the first push going. Rose, team captain, getting the most splats that last game. Can she do it again? Gonna have to jump out there though.
Barely gets to jump out. Yeah, Nugget is not looking. Yeah.
Ashy way out in front, trying to get into a 1v2. He's playing real aggressive on this slosher.
Trying Slosher actually has a lot more range than people give it credit for.
Yeah, not gonna work out though in a 1v2 there. They do get through the first checkpoint as JGC sitting on the tower there. That's huge. Getting it to 69.
Nice. The Lunar Tide does seem to be going down though.
Yeah, it seems like this time around they're having a much harder time. A lot of bomb use by high voltage this time, seemingly getting them the kills. Now Booyah cancel.
Booyah. That's definitely really hard to get.
Well, when you have a 3v1 and the Booyah's just in the air, it's not as hard as it normally is.
Yeah, especially with blasters, too.
Yeah, Nugget there. High voltage, though, seemingly getting a lot of picks this time. It is a 2v2. Finally, Lunar Tide, I think you're going to make the stop. Even a wipe for them, so maybe this is the opportunity to get the tower going back the other way. High voltage getting to 59 is a decent push. Will it be enough is the question.
It honestly depends on how well Lunar Tide will be able to push it.
Well, they're in an NZAP fight for the ages. Rose getting the better just barely.
Yeah.
It's about a minute long NZAP battle, I felt like.
Wait,
getting back on the tower.
Is.
Lemon's there too. I think they have it unless Rose can somehow knock both of them off. No, that's Fetus. They don't do it in time though. Lunar Tide getting the lead. Maybe even a second checkpoint unless Rose has something to say about it. It's a hard position.
Lemon really helping get those picks there.
Yeah, Rose though going to take the tower, so they're going to have a chance. They are going to stop them right before the checkpoint 2. That is a huge win because if you get through checkpoint 2, I feel like that potentially could just win this game. Lemon jumping around, trying to get those kills. Stingray out in the middle of nowhere. Yeah, that's a dangerous Stingray right there.
That was not a good place to pop it.
Yeah, maybe a little greedy. Maybe should have jumped backwards to spawn if he really wanted to use that. And now High Voltage actually going to take the lead back. Nugget trying to do something about it. But they do get through checkpoint 2. Solver, do you think that's going to be enough? Lunar Tide's going to get a push back the other way, but now they have to get through that checkpoint to get the lead.
They really need to just keep on keeping on, really.
Keep on keeping on. Great advice.
It depends on how well they will get that push.
Well, Jello there on the flank trying to get Rose. If they can get pick on Rose, that would be a huge start to this push. Rose though jumping around like crazy.
That lag was fun.
Yeah, a little bit of lag coming out. I'm not sure on what end, but Lunar Tide still has the tower. They take down JGC. That is pretty big as well. Ashy with the last hope, maybe. Bucket out. Rose jumps back on. Rose is a 1v4.
Rose. Wait, someone get on tower.
Yes, a lead for Lunar Tide. They might even get to the third checkpoint there. They have 3 people on the tower. I don't know if that's necessary, but it's working out somehow. They're getting the kills. This could be a KO. Moments away. Can High Voltage get there?
Go. Oh, wait. No one's on tower.
All right. They do hold. JGC, I think, got the pick there on the tower in the last moments.
If only all 3 of them stayed on tower.
Yeah, it is going to be a tall task, though, to ask for High Voltage to go all the way through checkpoint 3 with only 30 seconds left.
And they can't really huddle on tower either because there's a blaster in the way.
Yeah, Ashy does get a kill, but Jello trades it right back. 23 seconds on the map. This would be pretty much one of the biggest come-from-behind pushes we've seen all day if this actually comes out. Jello with some great stops.
Jello getting some pretty good picks.
Yeah, JGC there trying to get some kills. They are pushing it to 33. Alive King to get the kills here. No, they fall off. Ashy is the only one left.
That was definitely close.
It was close. They were jumping straight back on the tower, but Lunar Tide was able to kill them and jump on just in time. And that was very close, but somehow they figured it out in the last moments. Rose, 14 splats, 5 armors there. Getting the victory there for Lunar Tide, but Solver, that was real close for them throwing it away in overtime, it felt like.
Yeah, it seemed like no one was actually staying on the tower at all.
Yeah.
It seemed like they were trying to get a little too aggressive on both sides.
Yeah, it just seemed like both teams were good at killing one another. It didn't seem like teams mostly had a strategy, but I think Lunar Tide there at least got more picks to get those tower pushes going, and that's really all that they needed. Once they got it to 7 and almost got that KO, it felt like High Voltage really needed a miracle there to stay on the tower that whole time.
Yeah, and they almost did too, but this is sad reality is that they couldn't stay on it.
Yeah, and I feel like tower control is definitely one of the hardest maps, hardest modes to really win in overtime because you have to stay on the tower. You're just a sitting duck. The other team, all they have to do is knock you off and touch the tower once. And we saw that
really,
Nugget was able to touch it and game over right there.
Really, I think that's why blasters are so popular on tower control, because on those last-minute pushes, people tend to typically stick towards tower. So if you get a pick, then basically you got damage on anyone.
Yeah. Well, congrats to both teams. It was what I hoped for, a 2-1 victory, at least both teams getting a single win here. Both teams seemingly close in skills, close in matchups. Lunar Tide just getting a little bit of the edge, now jumping over High Voltage in 8th place. But congrats to both teams getting your first win of the season. Proud of you guys. Thank you guys for playing today. And we have one more matchup coming up today. Game number 5 is going to be Translucent